Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record weekly review special for week 30, in the second year of the Gaming Decathlon competition. This week I brought in 1,623 points, which is a pretty big drop, 371 points lower than a week ago. That was two games that finished up a season, a round, a series, whatever, and started back over from scratch again, so a big drop from those. But otherwise, 8 out of 10 games saw a steady increase in their points this week, which is a good thing, right? So, gotta take that with a grain of salt, I guess. Best round score of 2,899. It has now been 7 weeks in the past, and we're further adrift of that, so it could be a while before we see that beat. Current virtual best is up to 2,403, just about a 100 point rise, and the all-time virtual best breaks the 5,700 mark with 5,711. Looking at the 10 games individually, PCM 19 in the career mode, 61 points now. I add 9 from a week ago. Not a huge points haul, as that one is clearly the front runner for Pro Cycling Manager this year. I've got a good young team, but they're in Continental, so there's just not that much value in the races. So we're only going to go get so many points, but we're getting good results. And we should quickly push to Pro Continental, but then, of course, score's going to reset once that happens, so we'll see how things go. But we're doing really well early on in that playthrough. In the Pro Cyclist mode, first the Stage Racer, up to 22 points now, doubling the total. Starting to show some signs of life. First few levels, I was really weak, really inferior. Now I'm starting to step up, be a team leader, be competitive, and it's resulting in points. In the brand new series, the recent edition, the Classics Rider, cobbled Classics Rider, but kind of either version I'm going for. I was scoreless last time in the debut week. Now, a couple of weeks in, up to 16 points, and that's a lot of points for just a couple episodes further. I mean, we're at half the episodes of the Stage Racer, and looking like I could score more points early, but it was really shock stuff, so interesting where that series might go. I haven't done a Classics Rider playthrough before, not just on the channel, but myself. So I'm really excited about how that could go. Julian Alaphilippe has gotten so good at what he does as a Classics rider that he now finds himself in the yellow jersey in the Tour de France with only a few stages to go here in real life, at least at the time of recording. At the time that you're seeing this is the final day of the tour. I don't know what's happened over the last couple days in the mountains in the Pyrenees, but I'm gone for the weekend, by the way. That's why I'm recording this a few days ahead of time. And I finished all my other recordings for the week as well before recording this. But anyway, really interesting to see. That was my motivation for this. Not his performance in the Tour de France, but the types of things that Alaphilippe has really grown into, the type of rider he's grown into the last couple seasons, the type of rider that Peter Sagan is likewise. You know, there's a lot of excitement there, something different than the typical stage racer route. Motorsport Manager, think I might end up finishing in last place with 0 points. No, wait, I know I'm going to finish with 0 points, and almost certainly in last place. I'm not the only team with 0 points, though. But I don't think I'm going to get above the others, and so if there is relegation, I'm screwed. And I'm not sure if relegation has been turned on or off with that mod. If it's still on, if it's still a feature, then I'm done. And when I get to the end of the season, despite the massive ground we've made up, I'm so far behind. I don't want to go down a division, so I would restart the playthrough as one of the current weak teams who are well off the pace, but at least competitive. My car is just seconds slower than the back of the grid. I mean, we're 3 seconds a lap slower than the slowest car. I've gotten that within 2 seconds. I've gotten that down to a second and a half. But we're well over halfway through the season, and there's not much room for improvement left in the car currently as things stand, without upgrades in the headquarters. So it's going to be really hard to get much more out of the car than it is already getting, which means probably at best we're looking at still being a second a lap slower than the next slowest car on the grid. So over 60 laps, we're still going to be a minute behind those guys. Can't do anything about that. I mean, you can only do so much. A car that's 2 seconds a lap faster than it was at the start of the year is an insane amount of improvement, but that's still only so much if if you started 3 seconds down. Steel Division 2, really liking the growth. Got to the end of the first day on the second campaign this week. Got the second campaign started this week. And so that resets my potential at points. I've got a long ways to go to get any points this time. The 100 points I have are the difficulty rating. The rest comes down to the campaigns. I failed on the first campaign while being successful. Failed because I ran out of time. So I'm playing for time for this second campaign, and so far so good. Imperator Rome continues to surprise as I've really become established now. I went from the little nation that could to I'm finally a full-blown powerhouse and stable. And so I'm starting to roll over enemies, but I've still got to be careful of things like manpower and taking on giant coalitions. So still being careful, but things are going easier and more smoothly, and that score is going to just keep on rising at this point. And I'm now getting quite close to my target, to becoming Gaul, down to just a handful of cities left to acquire, and everything else, all the other boxes have been checked. Draft Day Sports College Basketball, new season started off, and it's already a good score at 375, but a long ways to go in the season, and this is my first after being promoted to Conference A. Looking forward to the season ahead, but it is a rebuilding year, so it could be a struggle, and it might not. We'll see how it goes. PCM 18, the career mode, the continuation of that series, now well over 60 episodes. Scores at 428, still a Continental Pro team there. So that's what you get with a Continental Pro team. And I'm going to have to become a World Tour team before something happens, but we are coming up on the end of the season. Just one episode left to reach the end of the current season, which also means that the current score will reset to 0 at the end of the season, and that'll be a big drop in points. So one more chance, one more opportunity to see that score go up a little bit higher. I think 500 is probably out of reach with the available points, but that's still going to be a really good points haul for a Continental Pro team. As a Continental Pro team again next season, it's going to be hard to get much higher than I already have, but we'll certainly try. F1 2019 career mode, 2 new parts onto the car, pushes us up to 173 points. This race was more competitive. I was thereabouts throughout. I was racing other cars. I used one flashback the whole race, and it was because of a bad corner. But I didn't crash at all. It was progress. It was progress, but Monaco's next, so good luck in that race. Draft Day Sports College Football, new season, just got started. That was the other drop in points, so the basketball and the football, so the 2 Draft Day Sports games are where those points went away at, why our score was lower this week. This one resets at 0 every season. Every win is 25 points, and we're 1-0. So 25 points, good start to the season. Dominant win. Team's a little bit better than last year's team. Looking forward to the campaign and see. I'm hoping for my first plus 500 season. I've had 2 6-6 years with bowl wins, so technically yes, that's plus 500. But I'm talking about regular season, and then whatever happens in the bowl game happens in the bowl game. But yeah, that's where we're at. That's the drop in the points. In fact, 275 is just right there from the football game, as we ended with that 300 last season. That was matching our best score. with the other time that we had started 6-6 and won a bowl game. Looking on the flip side to the all-time virtual best, the top 10 Pro Cycling Managers Pro Cyclist Mode of 2018 retired with that 983, so that's a really good points haul, but that's not perfect, so I still have not gotten one game yet to perfect out of 10. Once they get there, they'll sit there, and we'll stay there, and eventually the goal is to get 10 games perfected. Haven't happened yet. Haven't reached one. Very close. But what I have done this week is I now have 10 games, at least 10 games, with a 400 score or better. So 40% of mastery. That's still not good. I'd like to see that get up to 50% or more, because at least 50%, it's a better landmark than the 400, in my opinion. It's nothing but a landmark. It's not significant in any way, but half mastering a game, I think, feels like a lot more than 40% mastery of a game. Just, I don't know, halfway feels more tangible. I only have 4 games at that point right now. 3 of them are well above. I mean, I have 3 games that I'm pretty dang good at. PCM 18, Europa Universalis 4, 7 Days to Die. All of those achieved high scores, but everything else kind of still struggling along. Only 3 active games in the top 10, but 2 of them made moves this week. PCM 18 Career Mode and Imperator Rome. The gap between them is getting closer. It's only 5 points, but they're also approaching all those games just ahead of them. So there's potential for them to move up here real soon. Now, I already mentioned PCM 18 Career Mode. 1 episode left. 1 week left until that season is done, and I reset back down to 0 again. So it's only got 1 opportunity to move up from that 9th place. Imperator Rome only 5 points behind, and like I said, it's rolling right now. So I expect Imperator Rome to overtake it and the others in that 400 range pretty dang soon. I mean, we're talking only 62 points to 5th place. So I don't know how many weeks it's going to take, but it's almost assured that Imperator Rome will move into the top 5 and be the 5th game to top 500 within a short amount of time. How long? I don't know. I don't know how many weeks that's going to take. But at 25, 30, 40 points a week, it could happen within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Probably more like 3. Outside looking in, F1, the only one that made a move, and it didn't move up a position, still in 20th. So that's going to do it for this review special. Thanks for tuning in. Tune in again next week as I continue my journey. If you're a PCM fan, leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought about the Tour de France. By now, that last stage would have been there, but I probably won't look at those comments until later in the day because, like I said, I'm going to be gone for the weekend. So I have seen through stage 18. Watched that live today. I'm all caught up there, but stages 19, 20, and 21, I'll be watching replays of those later on Sunday, as in the day that you'll be seeing this. Bye for now.